Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I accidentally bought another truck at auction this week. The question is, did I do okay or did I get hosed? I think I may have gotten hosed. Check this out. Oh yeah, I would have bought you at auction, but no, we paid full price for you. We got hosed, didn't we? I'm on holidays this week, so I'm living the chill life for a week or so. I'm going to hang out with the family. We'll do a little saw work here and there, but today's video, I want to talk about, I went to the auction. Anybody that knows me knows I love a good auction. Auctions are a lot of fun and you can get a good deal, but you can also get hosed, friends. So we're going to talk about that in today's video. What did I buy at auction this week? Well, friends, I bought another truck. I've been thinking about buying a different truck for a while now, and as my family grows and my needs change, I thought, you know, it would be nice to have a crew cab. This is my current rig, 96 7.3 Power Stroke, F250 with a 5-speed. Great truck. You guys that hang out on the channel know that I bought this truck several years ago. I am the second owner of this truck. This truck's clean. Yes, it has some rust, but the rust is what you can see. The rest of this truck is perfect. The floor, everything. But anyways, friends, this truck is pretty much all pros. It starts, it runs, it is stone dead reliable. I trust this truck to go anywhere. I proved that point last month or the month before. We did several thousand miles in this truck and went to the States on a road trip. Never put a wrench on this truck. Still haven't. So pros are reliability, fuel mileage. It's cheap and easy to fix. It's a great truck. The con is, friends, well, I have a 3-year-old and she's growing like a weed. She is tall, friends. She's definitely got my height. I'm 6'3". Her car seat, it's getting to the point where she doesn't really fit in the back. And this is my truck. This is the truck I drive. And we go on road trips in this thing. We go to the lake and all that kind of stuff. And, well, this back seat's just a little bit too small. Otherwise, this is the perfect truck for me. I love driving it and love using it. After that road trip, friends, also, I thought to myself, if I'm going to be going to these events, and I'd like to go to many a year if possible, it sure would be nice. I don't want to get a hotel room if I'm traveling long distances. It would sure just be nice to be able to pull over, fold the back seats down, and sleep in the back. So I decided I'm going to look passively, and if I find something, maybe I'll buy it. I'm just walking over to the new truck. It's been pouring rain. I picked a rainy week to take off, which is what it is. Fred, so this truck that I bought, it was at auction. I do buy a lot of things at auction. I like a deal. I don't get caught up in a bidding war, though. I'm usually pretty sane at auction, friends, meaning I set a price that I will pay, and that's it. Okay, so if you're new at auctions and you're wondering what's the secret to doing well at auction, don't get emotionally invested in what you're buying. There's always more stuff, friends. Or buy it, but don't complain after if it's falling apart or needs something. Auction, the ones around here, as is, where is. You sign for that thing and you pay for it, it's yours. So anyways, friends, I bought a pallet of water hose for that water trailer that's hooked up to the truck. I needed extra water hose because in winter, sometimes the water hose will break. So I saw a pallet of water hose there and I bought it. And while I was there picking it up, I was driving through the lot and I went, ooh, what do we got there? Anyhow, friends, so that's how this started about 6 weeks ago. This truck did not sell. It had a reserve on it. It did not sell the first time. And I decided I wasn't going to buy it. Well, when I went to pick up this pallet of water hose, friends, I spent an hour looking at this truck in the parking lot. I put a booster pack on it and fired it up and I looked at it. And, well, I kind of changed my mind. Anyhow, let's have a look at what I bought. Okay, here's the truck I bought, and let's giggle together. I had plans of, I'm going to unveil this truck on a bright sunny day, and I'm going to shine it up and make it look real good. But friends, it's been pouring rain here for days. The weather's just not working out, so we're going to show her how she is. And you know us, we don't gussy anything up here on the Tin Man Saws YouTube channel. We just send it. Anyhow, friends, I pulled into the parking lot and I seen this truck there at auction, and I was like, ooh, mega cab. So anyways, friends, I drive home past this thing at the auction. It was parked in the front row. They knew what they were doing. It's like fishing. They were reeling me in. Anyways, I drove by this thing home many days a week, and I'd look at it. Anyways, I went to pick up that pallet of water hose, and I ran inside, and they gave me the keys and a booster pack, and I spent an hour looking at this thing. Now, I also had my scan tool in my work truck, and I scanned this thing, and I looked at what was going on with it, and I noticed, friends, that this thing was not charging. It had no juice coming out of the battery. So, anyways, I ended up bidding on this thing, and I ended up buying it. If the other fella bid one more time, whoever you are out there, you would have got this truck. I was on my last bid. It was the last nickel I was willing to pay for this thing. Because, friends, I assumed I was going to get hosed. Let's talk about that. Now, why did I think I was going to get hosed on this thing? Well, I don't know, friends. I had this inkling. Friends, everything I own was bought cheap. I tend to buy projects. I rarely pay retail for anything. That's just how I am, friends. I would rather buy a truck like this and put money into it, replace the running gear, you know, ball joints and brakes, and we're going to do all that to this truck. I would rather go over the truck, know what I got, and be comfy. I know what I got, right? Than pay full retail and still have to do all that, because let's be honest, most of these trucks got big miles on them. So anyways, they listed the problems with this truck as dents, dings, faded clear coat, like all these trucks have, and only starts with a boost. Those were the deficiencies, not test driven. So right there, that gets them out of any problems. So I bought this truck, friends, and well, let's go over the pros of this thing first before we talk about the cons. Because, friends, I thought I got hosed. The pros of this truck, in no particular order. Steering damper. Well, if you've driven one of these are death wobblers. You got to have the steering damper. That's a huge pro. 18-inch crank wheels with 35 1250 Cooper Discoveries. Big knobbies. That's a thumbs up. 3-inch lift with Fox shocks all the way around on this truck. That's dough right there, friends. Wheels and tires in that lift, well, that's almost as much as I paid for the whole truck. So we're definitely giving a thumbs up for that. The large car steps, 4 of them on this truck. Again, money that I don't have to spend because those are the steps I'd put on here. Another pro, I didn't know this till I bought the truck. This truck has head studs. So this truck's already been studded. That's also a con because if it's been studded, this thing might be juiced up. I'm not sure, but I thought, head studs, that's money. Somebody spent a lot of money on this truck, so we'll go with it. It has expensive mud flaps with the chains holding them. Again, I would put those on this truck, and somebody already did. Spray and bed liner. The bed in this truck is minty. This is a farm truck. Locally here, trucks are, if they say FT on the plates, this truck still has the plates on it. Those aren't my plates. This is a farm truck. Really good shape for a farm truck, and it's set up for a 5th wheel. That's a huge plus for me because this thing's getting a 5th wheel. Trailer hitch and a plug. That's a pro for me. You gotta have a hitch. My last truck didn't even have a hitch on it. It only had a gooseneck. Tow mirrors. Heated tow mirrors. That I've never had heated mirrors. They are a beautiful thing in this climate. that's a huge plus. I tow all the time, so I'll take it. Brake controller, that works. Yep, got that too. So again, friends, these are just all the little things that I would add to this truck that it already has. So when I was looking at this truck, it definitely had all the things that I personally would want in a truck. Okay, now let's get to the reason why I was interested in this thing. This thing's a mega cab. I'm 6'3", that's where I'm sitting. Look at the room. There's like 2 feet to the back of the seat. Don't mind this. And it's got floor mats. Again, something else I don't have to buy. Pull this lever here. This truck has toolboxes behind the seat. All the way across. So now I can put my tow straps and whatever behind the seat. They're not going to be rolling around in the back like they are currently in my truck. This is a Laramie, friends. DVD player that seems to work. Great if you have a 3-year-old and you're going long distance trips. So that's a huge check. So I was looking at this truck. Body on this truck is pretty immaculate for this climate. And rockers and cab corners are in great shape. A little bit of surface rust. Bottoms of the doors aren't bad. There's a little spot on that door. And again, look at, like, the doors are in great shape. Pins and bushings are tight. Now, friends, this is a Laramie. No rips in the seat. This truck has 200,000 miles or 300 and change thousand kilometers, depending on what side of the border you're on. No rips in the seats. Seats are in great shape. The only blemish in this interior is right there. So, let's climb into her. Okay, here's the interior of this rig. 6-disc Infinity audio system. Shift on the fly 4-wheel drive. Dual zone climate control. Factory exhaust brake. Heated seats. Rear window opens and closes. It has a sunroof. Trip computer. This thing has a H&S Minimax tuner. It works. It also has a CompuStar command start. I don't have the remote for it, but I looked around. I can get one, and apparently you can get one and program it. Wouldn't that be nice? So, great place to spend time. Lots of room. Perfect truck to haul the family in. You guys want to hear this thing run? These are all positives. Okay, ready? Truck's stone cold. This fires right up, no grid heater. This thing sounds great, it runs great. These are all positives. Everything seems to work in here. I got a bad wheel speed sensor. Cruise control, it arms, but it doesn't set. That works. If you set the cruise control at idle, it makes it a high idle. Kind of interesting. Okay, so you're going to say, well, it doesn't look like you got hosed. Now, friends, I'm not going to say what I paid for this truck, but I paid about half of what I would locally for a truck like this. Okay, half price. But I got hosed, or at least I thought I did. Let's go under the hood and talk about this. Okay, now we're under the hood, and let's talk about some of the cons. Hood struts don't work. That's a con, but the pro is somebody gave me a sweet prop and stick, and friends, it clips into there. Like, that's pretty high end. Headlights are foggy. Got to fix those. Somebody left their pickup tool under the hood here, so that's a pro. You never have too many of them. You can see it's got a AFE cold air intake. It's dirty, but it's there. That's money I don't have to spend. And this truck's had some parts removed. We won't talk about that, but it's what it is. All in all, friends, transmission fluid's clean. It's not low on oil. Oil's clean. I put a little bit of coolant in here, but it doesn't seem to be burning any or leaking any. So all in all, this truck's pretty good. Inside, what doesn't work? Blend door's broken. Well, I'm living Dodge life, so I knew what I was in for. I know how to fix that without pulling the dash, so that's not a huge deal. But yeah, blend door's broken, and cruise control doesn't work. I got ABS light on. So all in all, friends, you might be asking yourself, how, if you bought that truck at a reasonable price in the market where you live, and it's in nice shape, and it's a Laramie, and it's low mile, these trucks usually have like 500 to 600,000 kilometers, so 350 to 450,000 miles up here. This is what you look at these with. So the question is, friends, how did I get hosed with this truck the way it was? Well, let's talk about it. Okay, friends, so I buy this truck, I pick it up, and I call my uncle, who's my tow truck driver. He has a flat deck. Everybody needs an uncle with a flat deck, let me tell you. That man, thank you, sir. He's got me out of trouble many times. But he goes and picks it up, and he says, I had a hard time getting this thing to drive onto the deck. He said it had no power. The last couple feet, it sounds like maybe he had to pull it on. I'm not sure, but he said he had a really hard time getting this truck on the deck. So I brought this thing home, friends, and we booster packed it. And you can see, friends, this thing starts beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. And I thought, well, this thing's not going to be so bad. It's not, it needs batteries and maybe an alternator. So that's fine, I can do that. So anyways, friends, I had 2 spare batteries from my Power Stroke. I usually just switch batteries out before they're no good, friends. I'm like that. I'll just put batteries in a truck. You know, if I buy a new truck, especially a diesel, I'll put new batteries in it before I need them, before winter. So anyways, friends, I put 2 spare batteries in this truck, fired it up, and it wasn't running properly. I scanned it. I had injector circuit codes, body control module codes, ECM codes, you name it, friends. I had them. But whatever, the motor ran good, so I put the truck in gear and I went for a drive. Just up the back road here, just slowly, just to see what it's going to do. Well, I made it about a half a mile, and all of a sudden, everything went dim. And this is with 2 batteries that had 12.5 volts in them each. No grid heater working because it's warm out. This thing started to die. So I turned around as quick as I could, and it was defueling and, you know, on, off. And I limped it back home and got it in the driveway. That was the first thing that happened, friends. But I noticed something. When I shift this thing into drive, it would go drive fourth. And you'd start in fourth and you'd drive in fourth. And it would not shift. So, friends, I puttered with this thing and worked on it. And it's like, this thing would not shift out of fourth gear. And I was like, well, good job, Tin Man. You bought another project that you're going to have to spend a bunch of money on. You're going to have to put a $5,000 to $6,000 transmission in this truck, a truck that you haven't driven. And I thought, oh. So Friday night, friends, I went to bed knowing whatever. I knew what I was getting into, and I did it anyways. So it's my own fault or my own, you know, whatever. But yeah, I went to bed thinking I need transmission. This thing's stuck in fourth gear limp mode, which is a hard limp. Probably to protect itself because the transmission's no good. So, anyways, friends, yesterday night, I ordered an alternator the day I got this thing because it was not charging. I checked for charge at the passenger side battery, and there was no charging. So I bought 2 brand new batteries yesterday, and I put an alternator in this thing. And which wasn't the funnest job. It was pouring rain. I had a tarp over this thing, and I was hunched under the tarp working on this thing. Anyways, I put 2 batteries in an alternator, put it all back together, fired the truck up. Truck fired up, no problem, and it ran better than it ever had. I cleared all of the codes. Okay? Transmission is now shifting into drive until I went to move it, and it went back into a hard limp, friends. And I thought, yeah, we need transmission. But then I noticed something. The gauge was reading like 12.5 volts, meaning my brand new alternator wasn't charging. So I left this thing running, pulled it back up to the shop, And I got my ohm meter out, friends, and I checked for power at the alternator. Well, guess what? 14.7 at the alternator. So I thought, well, this is weird. I checked at the passenger side battery, 14.7. So I'm thinking, well, this thing's charging. Why is it not getting voltage to the ECM and all that? Well, I checked the driver's side battery, 12.5. So here, friends, if you have a Cummins or a diesel and you're having problems with voltage, check this out. I put a booster cable, which is still on here, from the passenger side. The alternator's right here. You guys see, I got a brand new alternator in there. I put a booster cable all the way around to that side. Okay, friends, the minute I hooked that up, everything got better. I cleared the codes again. No more codes, no engine codes, no body control module codes, no transmission codes, nothing. Okay? Now it clicked into drive. I went for a test ride last night, friends. Transmission shifts. There's nothing wrong with this transmission. It shifts beautifully. The problem is this wire right here, this one, it's either corroded at the ends or it needs to be replaced completely. Okay? And it goes right here. So there you guys go. So basically, I bought a really nice, fairly clean, it's got some scratches on it, friends, but it's going to be a farm truck. This thing will get used. Not abused, but used. So basically, friends, at auction, because this is why I do auctions, it's like gambling, but a lot of times you win. I bought a low mile 6.7 Cummins Mega Cab Laramie for cheap, and I think this thing went to auction because somebody couldn't figure out and they thought it needed transmission. Now it still might, friends, but I drove it around enough last night. It shifts, boom, 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 and it shifts quickly. I noticed when I was looking at it that the transmission's painted, which tells me it's been rebuilt already once, and this truck has a lot of money into it, and it's tuned and all that stuff. So I know right away this thing's probably had a transmission. These Dodges are not known for having the greatest transmissions. That is the weak point of this truck. Every truck has a weak point. Well, this is the weak point of this one. So anyhow, friends, sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. I think I won here. We're going to putter with this truck a little here and there, but I'm happy. Well, I guess I didn't get hosed at the auction, but there was a couple days there, because I've had this thing for about 2-3 days now, that I was like, oh yeah, you're putting an expensive transmission in that old Dodge truck. Wah, 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 wah. But no, sometimes the simplest explanation is the correct one. So I look forward to working on this thing and driving it. I'm going to go through the running gear, get to check the front end, upper, lower ball joints, U-joints, all that stuff. Maybe put wheel bearings in it, ABS sensors, and go over the wiring, because I know that's why those lights are on. And just make it tidy. I always do that to my trucks. I buy a truck, I'll go through it. I like to underbuy my trucks wherever possible, because then I can replace all the stuff that'll break right away. I'll be into the truck for the same money, but it ends up, oh, there's a Cummins right there, just went by. You end up being into the truck for the same money, but all the things that break on it are replaced. So usually you end up further ahead. So I've said this before and I'll say it again. You don't have to have a lot of money to have nice things. You can either pay with money or sweat equity. Either you work for that money to pay for it, or you work to fix it. Either way, you got to work. So I like to work, friends. So auctions are a great place to buy things. Trailers, trucks, equipment, tools. I buy a lot of tools at auctions, friends. And chainsaws. A lot of the saws you see on this channel I buy at auction. And all I can say is do your research, know what you're looking at. If you're looking at a truck, go on the internet, dig around, and find out all the known issues with that truck. And then go to the auction and poke around and look at those problem areas. That way you can make an educated guess. Now you're still risking losing your shirt. But let's face it, buying any used vehicle is quite a gamble. Unless you buy from a really reputable dealership, when you pull off the lot, that vehicle's yours. So I would rather underbuy it or buy it at half price and pull it off the lot on a tow truck than drive away and, still have issues. So anyhow, thanks for watching. Take her easy. And thank you to everybody that hangs out here, follows me in my day-to-day, and whatever trouble I get into, you guys are usually there with me. See you guys in a couple days. Later.